And we're live, and welcome to buying a used free satellite dish for free satellite TV, the live call-in edition. I had a video out kind of going over this, and I got the feedback. This happens before. I know my audio is working. That's a good thing. Go back to this. So we're going out on YouTube and all these other platforms. I think if I just make sure that I'm working on all the platforms, it will give me a little indication of where things are. That usually lets me know. So yeah, I got the chat room going on here. So yeah, so I just wanted to go through all the stuff that you would need for because it's more difficult to find a secondhand or find a brand new satellite dish, and it is a cheaper option if you do find a secondhand one. Several of these dishes have been sitting around for years, but the thing about it is you're gonna have to get a few things that you might have to buy extra. Go online and find it. Some stuff that you'll need you can just find at a hardware store. Things like there's the dish, but then there's the pole. It could be a 4.5 inch, could be a 3.5 inch pole, depending on the you'd have to measure the pole mount of the dish. Sometimes you have to cut off the pole, and that pole is like cemented into the ground, so you're not going to be able to take it anywhere. You can go to a scrap metal yard and see if they have a pole that you can use there for really inexpensive. That's scrapyard. I actually bought from another metal place, but I got a pole fairly cheap for my 4-foot dish. Other things you'll need is the RG6 coax. That's something you're going to need for satellite anyway. Some people are going to argue that you need RG8. RG6 works for what I'm using, so just for like the handful, the TV channels I'm using, I'd like to maybe try RG8, but RG6 cheap. It's easy to find. You go to Home Depot, you can go to Lowe's, and they'll have a big roll of RG6 cable if you need to get more of that. Actuator, that's something you're gonna probably have to find online. I do have a list in the description below, or if you go to freesatellitetv.net. I'll have some links there, and also follow my link tree where I got a lot of links. But if you're looking for an actuator, you can find them on eBay. I actually bought a large actuator for my first video that I did with my Black Beauty dish. Most of these dishes you just need like a 36 stroke, 38 inch stroke or whatever it is actuator. The most common ones will work. I can get like pretty much 55 west all the way to 127 west. I think I got as far as I can get. There might be more out there. 133 west. Yeah. Actuator wire. So the actuator has like 4 pieces of wire that are going in from your house to the controller. So you need to get that. A lot of the satellite, the older satellite dishes would have like all that like in a combined wire. So you used to have like 2 RG6 coaxes. At least that's what I had. 2 RG6s and a motor control. And there was another wire for the motor inside the LNBF, LNA, whatever it was back in the old days. So yeah, you want your actuator, motor control, and your free satellite TV receiver, which could be one of these things. Could be an Edison, like this one here. This is like maybe just under $200. It's the more complicated one, but it has a lot of bells and whistles. That's the Enigma ones. These are ones I like. If you're not too tech savvy, I'd recommend. I got the Amiko S2X, but there's also the Amiko Mini, which is a good entry-level satellite receiver. They're really small. I actually got right here. I don't know if you can see it. It's connected up. I was doing a scan for the new CTV channels, which have moved to 119 West. I'll get in more into that after. Yeah, so that's what you'll need. It's a receiver and all that. Patrick's saying I'm too small. I'll bring myself up. Oh. I'm just gonna minimize my screen. There we go. Oh, I got Talking Tom behind me here tonight. Chewing on my thing. So just so that's it. If and then if anyone out there has got a C-band satellite dish secondhand, as I said, I started with Black Beauty, bought that. The owner of it hog-tied it to the back of his truck, drove it to my house. Leo says hello. No, yeah. So anyone you want to, if you friend Leo on Facebook, Leo Bocrato, I find him all the time. My question is filters. Do they make filters for 5G interference? They do. It's like an LNB. So basically you have to get a new LNB. LNBs for that are, there is the titanium, which has a filter, but we're going to have to, we don't have 5G fully rolled out yet, so we don't know. I don't know. I'm not seeing any problems in my area. Maybe it has been problems like from other interference from years before. Now, let's see here. I can't read your name. Sorry. Hey, Paul. Yeah, someone's has an opinion on RG8. RG8 is 50 OHM. RG6 is 70 OHM. There's not a super big difference, but you might look at what's recommended. TV stuff is usually 75 OM. Yeah, no, I think there's probably a few fringe frequencies that might be a little trickier to get. Maybe having an RG8 cable going into your house, but then I also got to convert it down to RG6 to make it fit into my little receiver, because it doesn't have like a huge hole to put the all that copper coax cable. And Kevin's in tonight. Yeah, so there we go. That's like my introduction. I haven't been doing live streaming for a while. I've been away for over a month now. It's been a busy summer of camping and other things. We got Trevor and Patrick joining us. I'll bring you guys up. Here, I can make it 3 screens there.
Hello.
So, hey, Trevor. Hey, Patrick. Yeah, so this is a call-in show. You can call in if you have any questions. I think I got the link here. Won't let me do it on all platforms. I think it will let me do it to Facebook and Twitch. No, it will let me do it on YouTube, Twitch, and I guess I'm on DLive tonight. It appears that it's on DLive's working. DLive never works. I paid money for this this restream stuff. I paid, but got like the cheap amount, so I can have more callers tonight. It'll let up to 10 calls to call in compared to last time.
Right on.
Yeah, makes it a little bit broke up. But if you want to chat, you're probably your best bet. If you just want to type in a chat, go to the YouTube link, find my channel on YouTube, and that'll probably be the best place to participate in the live chat. Oh, Patrick has gone to Tone and Bars. I'll bring him up when he comes back. He's having technical difficulties. He was telling me he bought one of these cheapy HDMI captures.
Okay.
Which are these things there? Actually, you can record any HDMI source. You just use OBS or whatever. Basically, it reads it like a webcam and use it for different services. Actually, this is kind of what I'm using, but I'm actually using a product that I reviewed a while ago, and I have my camcorder hooked up via USB. It's the same idea, a little bit bigger than this. It's a little bit like a heavier duty version of this. And you can see it here because it's down right here. And it looks like this video editor is gone funky. That's the camera. That's his camera turning off. He's got to go in the settings, and he's using his DLSR camera going into that thing. And you got to use that to be able to. I had the same problem with my camcorder, which I'm using as a webcam. You have to go into the settings; it will power down on its own. So you have to watch out for that.
I never had a way to hook up. I never had a way to hook up my DSLR tonight. I need to clear up a space.
Oh yeah. Now DSLRs, do they have a USB option typically where you can just plug it in and use it as a webcam?
At least mine does. My T5i does.
Yeah. See, I tried. My father had a Rebel, it's like a 10-year-old one now, and it only and I stayed away from the Canon Rebels because it only recorded a minute of video. I was like, well, that's no good for me. It might be different now, or there might have been a setting really hidden in it, but it was like its default settings was this older Rebel camera. So I never bought one. Maybe I'll end up with one in a few months when I'm upgrading my production a little bit.
Okay, yeah. I don't know how much they fix it, but my T5i can record a maximum of 15-minute clips at a time. Or 14 minutes and like 50 seconds or something.
Oh, yeah. We got Vong in the West Coast calling in. How's it going, Vong?
Oh, it's going great. I'm just on break at work right now.
Oh, yeah. That's good. Thanks for calling in during your break.
Yeah, no problem.
I found your YouTube channel. I was enjoying some of the videos that you're putting out there with the amateur radio repeater stuff and all that. A little bit beyond me, but cool to watch.
I need to get that. I need to make better videos, to say the least.
No, you still got to start somewhere, right? I started doing videos that were comedy skits. And I guess it never caught on. I don't know. Maybe I'm not funny. Maybe you got to be famous to be able to do well in comedy. I don't know. But it gave me all the something to edit and work with video in. And I think if I ever were to do more video, I'd like to do more behind the scenes type stuff.
Yeah.
And also, you had a crypto one there from a while where you go to your mom and ask. That was probably from a few years ago, asking for some money for crypto. Hey, I've been doing well. My crypto is doing well this last few days.
Yeah,
it wasn't doing so well a month ago.
True. When I made that, Bitcoin was like, I don't know, $20 a coin.
Wow. I mean, I wish I would have bought Bitcoin then. Yeah.
When it was like $10 a piece, that's when I was like, hey, how do I buy some? And I couldn't ever figure it out. And, well, I mean, if my mom loaned me $100, I would have repaid that probably 10 times by now. At least, at minimum 10 times.
So if you are following this video from YouTube, there's a link at the bottom of the description of this video for Netcoins. If you're in Canada and you want to buy crypto, just basically you do an e-transfer to netcoins.app, and then you can buy crypto and transfer it to your wallet. That's going to be my plug for crypto tonight. But hey, yeah, you could be like that. There's smaller coins out there that are like a few dollars now that might be like what Bitcoin was, because Bitcoin is, I don't know what the future of Bitcoin is because it's so expensive to do a transfer of Bitcoin. Everyone was harping on how great Bitcoin is, but if you try to transfer, there's a lot of transfer fees. But in other cryptos like XRP, Ripple, it's like very minimal for the transfer fees. So Anyway, so we're a satellite show and we're talking about crypto, but I thought I'd just talk about that because maybe if I make enough money on crypto, I could buy that extra property to put like a whole bunch extra satellite dishes, a 12-footer and a 10-footer, and do all my fun testing. But
Maybe you should do a cryptocurrency YouTube channel.
there's a lot of those, and I think the people that do that are more knowledgeable on crypto than I am. I watch Max Kaiser because I've watched him for years. He was on Russia Today. That's actually the funny thing is if you watch Russia Today on satellite, they have a lot of shows would talk about cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Same thing with LRN. The guy who just got out of jail, Michael, or that does the LRN radio show. He did another great video about doing low power radio stations and how to go about doing that in the U.S. Got some comments here. I just wanted to go over them.
I've looked at.
Go ahead, there, Vaughn.
I've looked into low power FM, and the filing window through the FCC isn't open yet. A lot of people are speculating later this year, although they said that earlier in the year, and we're already later in the year. So who knows if it's actually going to be this year? Might be 10 years from now. But the last time it was open, I think it was like 2003. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a lawyer, nor am I a CPA, so don't take financial advice. I'm just a guy on YouTube. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I think they should let the licenses out more, and obviously there's going to be a lot more expansion of radio with the HD radio. Radio is like hybrid digital radio, where they can have digital sub channels in with the main analog channel, which is something that's been around for a long time, but allows multiple stations to be broadcast. Yes, and you got to get back to work, but thank you for joining us. All right.
Thank you.
Enjoy that weather, nice weather out west. Yeah, the crypto is doing well again. It was probably the buyer's market when I released that video, my little Netcoins video, and now it might still be buyer's market, but it's going up.
Yeah. I should check mine. I don't know what mine's up to.
You're a millionaire right now. You haven't checked it.
I haven't checked it in a couple months.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Because it went down like 2 months ago. It was just gone down. It was Patrick's back. You got your camera working again there, Patrick?
Nope.
Oh, he's having technical difficulties. It doesn't like the cheap capture device. I'm surprised the DSLR camera wouldn't just plug into the computer, but maybe not all DSLR cameras do that. I'm doing this live stream with some heartburn, so I feel like it's getting in my throat there.
I don't think people are liking us talking about crypto. We
No.
only got 18 views on YouTube anyway.
Oh, on YouTube? I'm looking at Restream, and I'm actually with Restream. I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Twitch. And the cool thing about Restream is it allows me to stream to my actual Facebook pages, not just my Facebook account.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no one's watching. One person's watching on Twitch, and then 7 people are on Facebook.
How much would it to cost to set up a 4K system, someone asked?
Oh, yeah? A 4K for satellite?
Yeah, it says new to satellite TV. There we go.
How much would it cost to set up a 4K system, CNKU band dish and receiver? Yeah, I always hate that question because it's like you're gonna find a maximum cost would be like I'd say $2,000, but I wouldn't pay. I didn't pay that much. That's like if you buy everything like brand new and a brand new dish, you'd have to get like a secondhand dish now. You can only really find a secondhand dish Now 4K, the receivers are about $100 for a 4K satellite receiver. That's what they are at now. I don't know if the shipping off eBay and Amazon are is the same, because shipping the big problem with C-band dishes is the container shortage. We just don't have enough. The containers are now, I guess they were like $5,000 to ship a container from overseas. Now it's like $50,000, so it's causing a lot of problems. Yeah, if you go to tvrosat.com, there's a pretty good article about that on that the admin put it out, and yeah, it's definitely kind of scary times. Like, what's going to happen to the supply chain with that problem? And it's going to be a time where people are going to be might have financial problems, and they got to switch, cancel cable and things like that, or it could be even worse. Hopefully it's not. Yeah, I'd say but with a C-band, a full C-band system, probably just over $1,000, but it all depends on what you're gonna spend on it and the receiver and all that. You could probably do it for under $500 if you got everything on the cheap. Like, and I'm talking about buying new receivers and maybe getting an actuator or whatever. But it's a difficult thing to put a price tag on, because there's nowhere where you can just go on. When there was Tech 2000, you can go to Tech 2000 and buy a full C-band system. It'd be about $2,000 shipped to your house or something around that. Maybe it would be a bit more. I'm not sure, but now it's so tricky to say.
Yeah, for sure. And then you need the land to put it on. If a lot of people rent, so not a lot of landlords would like to put a big satellite on.
Yeah. Sam asks, is there much going on in KU band, or is it pretty much dead? I'd say KU band. It has what. Like I actually watch news on KU band if you care about news, but and radio, there's a lot of radio on KU band. That's my go-tos with KU band. There's the movie channel, the Posy TV movie channel, but I haven't really had much time to really watch much TV. I'm pretty much on YouTube all the time, or I'm on social media. I'd say there's NBC. I guess that would have been a good thing to have on KU band if you wanted to follow the Olympics and all that. There's NBC, PBS. Cozy TV is one of the diginets that's on KU band. I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen this fall. I would hope that there'd be more broadcasters using KU band as a backup. But yeah, the thing about the hobby is channels always come and go. There was one time where all the retro TV channels were on KU band. Actually, retro TV, Tough TV, and their driving, whatever the car channel was, it was on Galaxy 19 at one time, and they moved it up to C-band, so we can't get it there anymore. So it's kind of one of those things, like channels always come and go, and they tend to come and go on KU band as well as they do on C-band. Same thing like with what happened this week. It was with this week. All of the CTV, the Canadian channels, the Unique F2 satellite moved to 119 West, and all the channels for CTV, all the weather network feeds, there's like 20 weather network feeds out there, the same channel over and over again on satellite. Right. They all moved to 119 West C-band. So I had to program my satellite receiver to be able to get, I had to actually add the satellite in some of my receivers because I never used 119 West C-band. So all that stuff's going. And a lot of people, that's what they watch. Like, they'll use their C-band, they're out somewhere, they can't get good reliable internet, so they actually watch movies on CTV. I always notice that there's one guy on Twitter. He always posts with the movies that are on the weekend, and he always says that CTV has this movie playing. I guess they play a lot of movies on the weekends. I don't watch CTV much anymore. I grew up with CTV, and I was like, but I do remember Saturday nights used to have movies on. We'd watch like Raiders of the Lost Ark or Star Wars would be on CTV. I don't know what CTV is like the American equivalent to. I think Global, at least used to be, Global was like NBC, and CTV might have been the CBS, or I don't know. I'd have to look that up to.
Are they not picking broadcast from every other American networks?
CTV and Global, I think they tend to do that. I think CTV has like stuff that we see on CW network and ABC, like the superhero shows, weren't they CW network type stuff? Like they had like Supergirl and The Flash and all those shows.
What a bad show, Supergirl. And so you're searching for something?
Yeah, I'm just looking it through the comments. Riley asks, is it worth setting up an entire system for KC or KU band for watching? Well, the way I consider this is a hobby. So like it's kind of like trying to DX. I don't know if you're trying to get a TV station with an antenna and seeing what you can get. So I don't say this is better than cable, but this is like something that's free and you don't have to. I don't watch a lot of TV, but like if I want to watch something linear content, linear TV, put it on and see what's happening on TV and have like 30 channels to skip through. The C-band satellite dish or even KU band is fun to have for that.
It's for fun. Actually, it's all for fun. If you need a particular broadcast, something you really need for, there's internet for that. If you want a serendipity effect on the way you consume television, go for the C-band for sure.
Yeah. And Riley asks also what type channels can I receive in Northern Ontario that are scrambled? As I say, you get CTV, you can get depends on the satellite. You always want to look up on Linksat. Is where it will tell you the charts of where the channels are. TVROSat.com. It has, I think it's .com. Anyway, TVROSat has a chart list for all of the new channels, and when new channels come, that's usually where I check. And they do that pretty good. So I would say check there. But there is several channels on there, and I recently 127 West had a Fuse TV, which is kind of like shows old sitcoms and stuff like that. They have Fuse West and East, so it's another one of those DigiNet type channels, and that's up on C-band. And then also 127 West has NASA, a bunch of NASA channels. Has the 4K channel and then the publicity channel and the interviews with the astronauts on the space station. And it has Reels, which shows a bunch of movies. I guess Reels is a movie channel. I think Reels has become a movie channel again, because I put it on and there's Clint Eastwood movies. So because Reels for a while became like a Entertainment Tonight type of documentary show. And then what else? There's a bunch of the DigiNets like Me TV, This TV, which is a movie channel, movies that are on C-band. But as I say, a lot of the channels are on C-band, so you'll need one of the large C-band dishes. And if you want to stream, just stream. I totally get that. I'm able to stream, but I still want to play around with this stuff and see what I can get. And I like the fact that a lot of times on C-band, it's used for broadcast backhauls. So the video quality on C-band is spectacular. Like if you got a big screen TV, you want to get the best out of it, even if it's 1080p. The 1080p from C-band is a master feed compared to what you get on Bell, which is like a very highly encrypted. It might be 1080, but the bit rate is not going to be the same high bit rate that you're getting on C-band satellite.
It's as good as the over-the-air television channel for the main channel. If they tend to have 30 megabyte, I think, or 25 megabyte per second on over-the-air here actually, but I don't know for other places. But 25 megabyte, and on C-band you cannot top maybe 19 megabyte, I think, for HD on C-band. So it's look like it's less, but not sure about it. But
Well, the thing with C-band, they use H.264, where broadcast over the air TV is using
Yeah, right.
MPEG-2. MPEG-2 came out in
MPEG-2
like
is-
1989, 80. It came out in the early 90s. This is a very old digital video codec.
That far away? Is it? Really?
I think the early 90s. I might be mistaken with the 80s. I would have to say it was probably in the 90s.
I think you're referring to MPEG-1.
MPEG-1 might have been in the 80s when it first started.
Yeah, because nothing was powerful enough in the 80s for MPEGs at all. But the early 90s, maybe, that was the time of the SVCDs. Those were MPEG-1, so I can give you an idea. Before the DVDs were the Chinese and the Japanese market have VCD and SVCDs, and those were MPEG-1 compression, so on CDs. So, and from what I remember, it's about the early 90s. So
yeah, the codecs changed. It's gone from H.264. And I do see the future going to H.265 because then they could probably fit like 40 channels on one transponder compared to where the analog days was one channel per transponder, one standard definition channel where they can compress so much. Ron asks, are there any FTA receivers capable of receiving subscription channels? Is a la carte string a thing?
In a rope. Just in the rope. In the rope.
Yeah. It's most receivers, like free satellite TV or free to air receivers, are like more of an open box, and they don't have the ability to take like a subscription service. If you want a subscription, most North Americans subscription service, you got to get their proprietary receiver, which doesn't like if you don't use it with their service, it's good for a door stump. That's about it. It's like
it's good to pull the hard drive out of it if it's a PDR.
Yeah, that's true. I think someone was saying if they have an Orbi TV receiver that hasn't had the hardware update, that never sold, they can use it for over-the-air TV. That's one of the things with Orbi TV. The dish is still good, but the receiver is probably junk. I don't know.
It's just too much problem for to make it work.
Yeah.
No, don't work. Glad you're. There was someone who was asking was the what satellite does Direct use? That's a common question, and I think it changed.
Yep, they're using Anika G1 and Anika F2 now. 107.1 West and 111.1 West.
Yeah, they've been using those for quite a while now. At
Yeah,
least those
so.
positions, unless the satellites moved recently, because I know there was a bit of a shift around that with that one, and that's part of the reason why Bell has moved their stuff over to 119 West. I don't know if the satellites moved. I haven't followed the satellite news.
But they won't move it so that you're gonna need to adjust the dish again. It will be too much work for installation, personnel and stuff. It will be too costly. So if they do change, the orbital position will still be the same.
Yeah. Jonathan Lima makes a point here. We use H.264 in Brazil, digital over-the-air system. So they probably have a DVB-S. I don't know if they use DVB-S2. Not DVB. The digital terrestrial.
DVB-T.
Yeah, DVB-T. I know ATSC 3 will probably be using H.265 because they'll be able to fit like 30 channels on one broadcast TV channels potentially. And then with that, they want to have subscription services with the over there. So they'll have like the main channels, but then they'll be able to have like sports packages. And that's what they're looking at. But it'll be interesting to see how ATSC 3 comes
I think that is going to cause a problem because I think it's going to cause a problem for us in Canada that gets the signal from the States, ATSC 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
ACOM is good. Why?
Because
They
I
want
gotta
you to
feel-
be connected to the internet. They want it to be like an IP access or something like that. I don't know. It's
the
we'll have
blackout.
to see what- yeah.
I'm afraid that they'll end up blacking it out, so everybody will end up losing their U.S. channels. That's in Canada.
Oh, okay. So they're gonna be tied to an internet connection so that they can decrypt the signal or something like that.
That's
Well,
what I'm thinking.
They want it to be connected with your internet to be able to do targeted ads. So they want to know what you like, so they can so they can advertise to you, kind of like what
Yep.
your web browser does, and get that information on you to be able to. So it won't be just like the same ad everyone's going to see. They can just send an ad to your television, like in a video file, and have that play. So basically, their TV will be a PVR for their commercials, even though like my Roku TV, which drives me crazy, my Roku, it can pause live TV. It can, fast forward if you put like a little USB dongle, USB storage device in it, but it won't work as a PVR, even though it has the full capability of being a PVR with the over-the-air TV. But they took that out.
But I do understand. I can imagine that the new ATSC gonna be just imagine a fat pipe for the internet. Somehow they're gonna view this like it's just another big pipe to your internet so you can watch TV on it. But if you don't have internet, you will be out of luck. I see it like they're gonna mess with the they're gonna mess with it. They're gonna mess with the what we call television. I'm sure about it.
Well, the thing with like I've heard, but the thing is with the new technology, you get journalists that don't know what they're talking about, and you get PR people who don't know what they're talking about. Because I heard things like broadcast internet will be working with ATSC 3.
Yeah,
like
right.
thinking, yeah, I'm like, what? And maybe like that's where you get. I don't know if that is that even possible, but sometimes when you get journalists who say satellite doesn't work anymore, I have a lot of issues with. There's a Facebook group for over-the-air TV people, and as soon as I start talking about satellite, they're like, it's all like the propaganda that cable companies want you to believe. And sometimes these people are working for the cable company when you look at their or they're looking for broadcast companies, and they're like, oh, there's nothing, everything's encrypted on satellite, or it's all religious channels on satellite.
Yeah, right. And then at the same time, people, when they're talking about cellular phone, everything telecommunication, they think that it's going through satellite at the same time. You tell me that everyone that don't know anything about telecommunication will think that everything is going through satellite.
Or the internet's going through satellite, not through fiber
right.
optic lines on Earth that go under the ocean. And if anyone's watching this in UK, I guess this stream's going underneath the Atlantic Ocean, and it's
and it's coming through Newfoundland.
it's coming through the transatlantic cable.
Yeah, it's coming from Newfoundland, so everybody in the UK is watching it through from Newfoundland.
And I saw the video on this. They didn't actually disclose where they were, obviously, but it's actually really a cable that's going to the beach and down up to Newfoundland, from Newfoundland to Europe. Actually, and you can see the cable going down the slope of the beach.
And they did that. The first time they did that was for like a telegraph, Morse code in the 1800s. They put a cable across the ocean, but then they put too much power into it and it fried the cable. So they spent all this time putting the cable across the Atlantic Ocean for the first time to have a communication link across the ocean. And then I think it worked for a while, and then it fried, and then they had to do it again.
I wonder what's the impedance at the output. But
there's been a lot of fails about running cable across the ocean. So
it's a lot of it's fiber optic now. I mean, they got fiber optic cable going under the ocean. That's how the modern cables, and that's what like they're worried about with in the Middle East and the Mediterranean Sea, is having like people tamper with the fiber optic cable underwater for espionage to different countries in that area.
Speaking of fiber cable, back a couple years ago, they were doing some construction on the main fiber drop from the mainland to here, and our phone services were down for like almost a week. They cut right through the fiber link.
Oh.
So for the longest while, some people it wasn't affected, but some other people it was affected. It was like me, I was affected. Like my phone was down for almost a week.
Oh.
So
That's worse than me. I just lost my internet some weeks ago just because of a tracker. they put new fiber optics cable and stuff for the new tower, and the cable was heavier and heavier, and they didn't put another pole, so one of the tracker went to its pit from the woods and just he went with the cable on the truck, so the cable went down, and try telling this to Bell, and they are looking at you like you're you're like in space. They don't believe you.
That's the thing with the CTV feeds. I don't want to say that too loud because I don't want someone who works at Bell is like, what? People can get our national feeds for free? Because I think the high ups don't really realize that they've been doing it for so long, and when and they don't know what's going on with Bell. So that's what I'm worried. But I hope nobody call Bell and tell them that. Just let them keep doing that, spending the millions of dollars to keep CTV. At least it's something up on C-band.
They're gonna have stuff on C-band for a long time. It's gonna change a lot. Like today, the channels, like you said before, it's always changing. The only time the channels were not changing is the old time of analog. In the analog time, no channel was moving much, at that time.
Okay. Yeah. I remember there was, because I did see the a C-band dish a few times before. I think I went to somebody's house back in like 1999. Just before 2000, the decade, the millennium and all that. I was playing with the analog receiver. There's Dr. Gene Scott was on. I don't know where the dish was pointing. I just knew you'd go through the channels, and and you would see like the analog channels have moved to whatever satellite, and it would say like it'd be like a little, color bars with a message on it or whatever. This channel has moved to this satellite. And there still was, even in the analog days, still a lot of like,
okay,
you can find, at least in '99 when I looked at it, I'd see a few like network affiliates on satellite, right? Like the NBCs or whatever it would be, and you see like local news from like somewhere down in the States. We used to have a lot of that even a few years ago, until I think a lot of places started going to streaming. We used to get Missouri news. I used to get the Missouri. The Ozarks channels, that was a big one that was on 99 West. And I think, I don't know if it had MeTV, but it had like a few diginets with it. It was like a few channel mucks in there. And I'd watch like news from, was it Springfield, Missouri or someplace like that?
In analog? Yeah.
No, it's digital. This
digital.
is like years there. This is like 5 years ago, maybe.
Okay. I think there was a national election maybe a decade ago that were in analog on C-band. I remember that seeing the backstage of the Conservative Party and stuff like that.
Okay.
Those they were. If you were local, like on the province level, not much. But as soon as you need to go coast to coast in Canada, up till I think 2010 or 12, they were going C-band, and from what I remember, it was on analog C-band back maybe 15 years ago.
15 years ago, they're still using quite a lot of analog, because even HD TV wasn't really being implemented till like maybe 2007, 2008. And I remember there was that transition period, like 2008, where they would put the the logo for the TV would become more centered to the middle of the screen, so they can cut the bars off. And they were doing that a lot during the transition period. I remember getting a widescreen WrestleMania DVD, and I was able to it was like standard definition DVD, but they would have it so that if you had the component cables plugged into your TV, it would be widescreen, and you can have like a wider. It would look like HD, but it'd be coming off of like a standard definition DVD. They had little tricks to do that.
Do you remember when the ads were not in HD and they were always switching back and forth of resolution? It was quite a mess.
Would get. Let me play around with the settings here just to sort of make fun of it. No, there you are. It would be like a box like this, like the box in the middle, like I'm just gonna switch myself to the bottom, but it used to be the box of the box of the box of the transfer, and it looked horrible. And yeah, they used to have that a lot. I remember seeing that. I don't like that setting. I'm gonna go back to this one. There we go.
Someone is telling on the chat that PAL M is used in analog C-band still today, but I don't know where is he on the earth, but PAL M won't be used here, obviously.
An interesting fact about our surviving C-band set is that it still has analog channels that are in PAL M. What was PAL M?
PAL, I don't know. M.
Is that one of the compression? Was that one of the compressed analogs where they can fit multiple? They had like analog. All right, I was looking into something.
I think he's referring to C-band actually with the PAL M, but from what I remember, is not much different from the other PALs. So I think it is probably in some places. There's a place. Is it Brazil that there's some place on South America that are not in NTSC, I think. So he's probably talking about that. Not sure. Brazil. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Brazil might not be, because some of the although we get like some Portuguese channels that aren't they in NTSC? Well, they're digital, so I guess they could be just switched to whatever they want, right? With digital, with HD, it kind of standardized things, because it used to be like if you switch from PAL, you're watching like France 24. They carry that on cable, but it looked had a weird look to it, like the frame rate wasn't right. It was not looking right.
Actually, it's there's two levels to the subject. There's the projection level and the broadcast level. On projection level, the only difference is the frequency, 50 hertz, 50 alpha image per second instead of 60 alpha image. So that's it for projection and broadcast. But on broadcast level, the color sampling on analog and all that stuff was different. Today, it's a matter of video compression, but nothing has changed. There's not quite a difference, but the video rate, the actual FPS is a mess to convert if you need to do so.
Okay, yeah.
You cannot do a good job in real time.
Yeah. Well, I found that with trying to do video game capture, I would connect my. I had that little handheld VHS capture device.
Is that? Oh, I'm gone.
Yeah, your camera's gone. Yeah. Are you gonna just leave your bars up there?
Yeah, I'm gonna get back. I think it's overheated. I don't know.
Okay.
I think I have 20 minutes on this.
Oh yeah. So what were we talking about? Analog something.
It's supposed to work.
It's supposed to work. That's what we're used to around here. It's supposed to work. And okay, you're gonna look at it. I'm gonna figure it out. Try this. Unplug this. Plug this back. Okay, it works now. Okay, whatever. I don't know what I did, but it works now. Welcome to the satellite hobby.
Yeah, it's about the same problem. Here I
Yep.
have a big fat external batteries for it. I'm using a 5-volt power pack with an adapter for it, but unfortunately, I think it's just overheated because I made the mistake of using the LCDs, the LCD panels. I should have closed it.
Okay, Jonathan Lima is asking. So if you have an analog satellite receiver and point it at 70 West Star 1C2, can you get main national channels and analog? That I'm not sure of. I don't know if it's 70 West. A while ago, there was analog channels, but it was spot beam because I tried to pick them up, and they were Brazilian, I believe. I know they were South American, so I thought they're probably going to be like South. Because the only analog channel that was working, and I did a whole video on it, I did a couple of videos on it, is the C-SPAN channel where I connected the analog receiver, which, there it is there. You see it behind me here. I had that connected up, and I had to connect it up to the old tube TV because that's how I was able to get it to work. And then the second video, I hooked it up to an old Commodore computer monitor, and I was able to view the C-SPAN stuff. But that was the only analog channel I was able to get. And also, this analog receiver is very snowy whenever I use it. So I have a feeling it might have been so old that there's something gone funky on it.
Yeah, more than likely.
Just looking over at the... I don't know if it will allow me to do that. But I'm just going to post on YouTube here the call-in link if you guys want to call in and join us.
Could it be that it was staticky because all your new receivers is putting voltage through the coax?
It could be, but I think it's like a silent voltage. Like, I don't know if you ever a sub-audible tone voltage, like kind of like when, I don't know if it's similar to what like an amateur radio, when you hit a repeater with an amateur radio, and you connect to it, it sends in a sub-audible tone to tell the repeater to activate your voice, and when you cut off, there's a whole sequence in that, and you got to program the radios to be able to do that. In the wrong window here. Oh, you got that's your video editing setup, eh?
Yes. I'm working on the same stuff. Actually, we found out that we had for 2 movies inside one, so we have what we call a beautiful problem.
Oh, okay.
We have 4 hours of edited footage, so.
You got to cut it down more to like 2 hours or 90 minutes or whatever.
My producer is crazy. He wants to make a 3-hour show.
Well, I guess he figures out that the streaming media, you can make like you can make it episodes or whatever.
We're going old school. We're going old school.
Yeah,
we're doing Blu-rays for the super fan, and we're gonna show it to. We're gonna make let's say. A show in a theater. We're gonna by the night. I mean to say make a location. What I mean, we're gonna use a theater to show our movie with to the actual all the actual fan and actors and all those people, because we'll have a lot of people that work on this. Right now at this stage, I'm the only one working on it, so a lot of pressure here on my head.
Well, one thing that never took off was Blu-ray. I never owned a Blu-ray player. It's like
I do.
Yeah, you got everything though. You have a DVD, not DVD, Laserdisc. You have a Laserdisc?
No, I don't have the old school.
Do you
The
have, do
only
you have a
old school
C,
stuff
do you
I
have a
have is VTRs.
do you have an RCA Selectivision CED video disc player?
I wish I have those stuff.
I
Let me
had one.
find.
I had one back in the day. I
You,
sold it.
you know, I'm in the same situation. What I got, and I was too young to know the value of this.
Oh yeah.
I had a old school 40-inch television that weigh about 100 pounds. Though this old school television was actually a full lamp color television for 40-inch, a real round uh, kind of round tube, and the tube actually has a 3 dot in that fashion, in the triangle fashion. So that was really old school and kind of rare, because you don't find color television in the 40-inch full tube. No transistor or solid state stuff in it at all. And one time it blew on me, and I didn't think of repairing it.
Well, I was
And
thinking of it
I
was
should
like
have, because I didn't see that
with
kind of
video
stuff.
quality. I was like thinking, yeah, because like these people used to argue about VHS and beta was better.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I like it's kind of like with the format wars. What happened with Blu-ray? Well, Netflix killed Blu-ray.
Yeah, came to Blu-ray, yeah. But they
It's-
still have Blu-ray for 4K, huh? It's way better than Netflix.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. It's picture quality, but people don't give a damn about picture quality. They'll
They
take
don't give a damn, but they
VHS
want
on
HD and 4K.
SLP.
They want
Oh, they don't-
HD.
Yeah,
That's a funny thing. They want HD, they want 4K, they don't give a damn about the quality. And when they go to the cinema, they have 2K. So what's the...
yeah.
That's the real joke. The joke is on them. That's quite funny.
Yeah. Well, the quality is so good now, even with digital. Like with what I can do with my camcorder, looks a lot better than anything I had back. Even with your phone, like anybody's phone, they can shoot video that's like better quality than what a VHS or even like the best, Betacam. Betacam used to be, you could only use Betacam. Betacam is the best, right? Well, not anymore.
I worked with that, but
Yeah.
I can tell you that your phone, your $1,000 camera, and all those stuff, you can make great image, but it's like the VHS time. It's like the old days. You can do great image, but you won't be able to make video effects on this. You won't be able to color grade it to the extent we do with the $200,000 camera from Sony and from all other manufacturer. You don't have the bandwidth. You don't have the data to make stuff with the image. Is great. It's great.
Yeah,
as
the
is.
image is good. Yeah. M. Ball asks, has anyone looked into renting space on satellite? I did. I wanted to see how much it would be. I wanted to see how much it would be to have a channel up on satellite. I did a whole video on that. It's how much does it cost for a TV channel on satellite? It's, I don't know. It's like is it 5,000 a megabyte or per second? It's it's 5,000 a megabyte. I forget. I have to look at the video that I did over on YouTube to remember the numbers exactly. But I broke it down to like a standard definition with channel a month would be about $5,000 for the uplink. You'd have to get a dedicated internet line and all your production and all that. But just for the satellite time, it would be about $5,000. Now, if you want an HD channel, it'd be about $20,000 for like a minimal, like a 720p, 60 frame per second HD channel, maybe a 1080p HD channel for about $20,000 a month. A really good HD channel is around $30,000 a month for a channel up on satellite. For a good HD channel, maybe a little bit more than $30,000. It all depends on who your uplinker is, how you get your deal with like Intelsat and all the sat uplinkers. And you can find them, obviously, Linksat. They tell you who the uplinker is, and you just call them up and say, hey, I got a TV channel. I want to uplink it. I would, and do it more. Make it free to air. Make it free satellite TV so people can enjoy it. It's I'm surprised, even though $20,000, it sounds like a lot. But if you're a giant corporation, if you're like, with these DigiNets, that's like, even if you're a company, $20,000 a month, is that what companies pay for their office space a month?
You should see the invoice for Hydro Quebec for a FM tower, a main
Oh yeah,
a
yes,
main radio FM tower. You won't
yes.
believe it. You won't
And,
believe it.
and you compare that cost to like having what it is on a tower,
It's nothing.
yeah, that's
Less.
nothing. Yeah, and then you reach an entire nation, an entire continent for.
Yeah, but now you're talking about shortwave radio. But if you're talking just about a commercial FM station, I think it's about $100,000 per month. Is it possible? I don't remember.
I've heard that. I've heard numbers, but I'm bad with numbers. So if
My
anyone
number
knows,
not
let us
true.
know in the if anyone knows for sure, let us know in the comments, or someone want to go to Wikipedia
Yeah.
and get like Wikipedia information.
But the electric the utility cost for FM broadcaster is quite high on this.
Yeah, well, they are using pretty much the same power of what a TV station is, right? It's 100,000 watts or whatever is what a TV would broadcast at the same
Actually, I
power.
should have known this because there's one near me, and somehow, because where am I, there's a lot of different terrain and different configuration of the earth, so it's quite hard to broadcast here. And from what I remember, they're not the same power. And if you're broadcasting in ATSC on the UHF band, it's less costly than VHF. But here we're all full VHF because
Canada. Let's go back.
Yeah, Quebec. I should say Quebec and the northern part of Quebec where there's too much.
Oh yeah, so it actually makes sense to have low VHF high.
You
Not
get
low.
it.
Yeah.
UHF is too high. You don't go far enough, and with the terrain and all stuff like that, you're off with VHF. And I think there's one station here that is in UHF. And I'm not sure because it's on channel 6, but I think it doesn't matter the frequency versus the channel. You should tell me that maybe, but I think they're on UHF and they broadcast to the city, but not the whole region. Unfortunately,
And Ball says that $30K a month is about $20 an hour. So, that's actually paying a bunch of employees too. Yeah, that's another business cost of like when you have like I don't know how many employees, that or you'd be paying to do that. I don't know. He has a calculator, I guess. He's done some math here, but it's the cost of doing a business, right? I'm surprised there isn't a Pluto TV type service on KU band. That. Instead of having History Channel, creates their own dollar store History Channel, Historica, like what Pluto TV has.
You have a marketing problem using Dish for today, using Dish today.
It's gotten to be like, see, that's an idea they could have done 10, 15 years ago, and it would have took off, but I don't know if it would take off now. Streaming is just... it's more accessible. You don't have to put a big dish. But then the thing, most of the population who live in cities and towns.
Broadcasting is simpler. It's quite simpler.
Oh yeah.
I don't. We go to a lot of trouble to be able to stream today. We don't recognize it, but YouTube and all those applications are going through a lot of servers and a lot of route to make it possible. And I'm not sure if that's not kind of costly somehow, but I know they're sharing the bandwidth from a provider to another, from a backbone to another, so without pay, and it's a matter of infrastructure. It's a matter of the how can I put it, the actual technology we have is already installed. So there's nothing more to pay anymore. They gonna share it between provider, but more than that, they don't charge themselves. So that's not worth. I heard that Netflix is quite costly on the bandwidth, but what I don't
Yeah,
like,
they
what I
they
don't
would
like
be.
about
YouTube is, and yeah, they all are.
they kind of costly. They one time they said that it was about 60 or 70% of of the internet bandwidth. I'm not sure about those marketing bull crap, but
Yeah, they're forgetting about, I don't know, peer-to-peer and torrent and other
yeah,
applications that are using high bit rate and data. Now, video is a big one though. Video has taken up a lot of the data
yeah.
streaming. Like
I'm gonna put you a good one on this. If you think that everyone that is using Netflix and YouTube won't use it anymore and start to download their video one way or the other and download it with a file with a H260 file, I think we're gonna use less than a quarter of the bandwidth you're using right now, because Netflix bandwidth and YouTube bandwidth is quite high if you compare to a file you can download. So let's say someone download an H265 file for 2 hours, it's gonna be maybe 800 megabyte. I think Netflix is gonna do the same thing with 3 or 2 or 4 gigabyte for the same video. So what we're using in streaming is quite higher than what we're using in download
all right.
for the same video quality. So we're throwing away bandwidth somehow.
Oh, okay, because maybe it's the way the buffer works or whatever, and it's not using the compression.
Yeah.
Like how H.2, I don't know. I would think that it would be coming down the pipe like in H.264, because I think it's still H.264 video, except if it's 4K. 4K will be H.265. I don't know if there's much of a difference between the compressions, but I just know that's what's being used.
From what I saw, H264 is about 25% of the bandwidth of H2 20. How could you call it? H265 is 25% of the bandwidth of H264. If I do remember, can you corroborate this, or am I mistaken? What do you think?
No, just looking at the comments here. Someone is asking about some naughty stuff, but I'm not going to answer that. We don't answer that here.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a naughty word.
Yeah,
I see here.
We don't promote piracy or illegal activity here. Obviously, is it possible? Maybe, but we don't talk about that.
I think he's asking if someone can buy it legally.
Yeah,
that's the way it sounds. Like buy it legally from the company.
I don't think so.
Not that I know of. No, even like the best way to go, and there's a C-band provider, but then you have to spend all this money on their proprietary receiver. And I'm not going to mention the name because it's like they advertise free-to-air channels as their service, but they're in the clear free-to-air stuff.
And you got to understand those receivers don't have channel or anything. They only have one transporter per receiver. So if you want to see 10 channel, you're going to need 10 receiver.
Yeah. You want to avoid that. Like with if there was a subscription C-band service, you probably need a separate receiver, and that's I think where it was going toward at one point with satellite services. There would every different company where you need a different receiver to get them.
It didn't work, isn't it? I never saw get to fruition.
I think there is different to scramblers. I think for a while there was a
In the
different
analog world,
in the analog world. Yeah, I think there was
for sure.
Yeah,
I have many of those, but in the digital, there was DigiCipher in the digital world with the technology that Shadirek is using and still using somehow. But those receiver, the DSR 922 and 920, I think, those were
yeah. Oh, okay, yeah,
were able to use them, but those provider doesn't
yeah.
exist.
It's pretty much eaten up by Dish Network, DirecTV, Sky Mexico has the South America. Sky has the South American market, and Shaw Direct, which is it owned by Rogers now? Shaw bought
I don't
Rogers.
know.
Is in the
I
process
don't know
of
if
buying
that.
Rogers.
I think they're still in the process.
Still
I
in the
think they're having,
process of trying to
they're
get
having some
that. Yeah.
issues with the consumers.
So that would mean if Rogers did buy Shaw, that would mean Bell and Rogers are the two big providers in Canada. Where in the United States, I guess is really just DirecTV, which is AT&T, and Dish Network. Who is Dish Network? Just Dish Network? It's the Charlie Elgin. It's not anyone.
I think so.
I think so. I may be wrong.
I think they call it CoStar, isn't it? The main house.
EchoStar. EchoStar is the parent company. That's the company that puts the satellites into orbit and all that. Yeah.
From what I remember, that was EchoStar that did their encryption. That by the encryption from the Swiss.
FAU says Rogers doesn't own Shaw, and we weren't saying that, but they don't own them yet. They're in the process of trying to get approval from the CRTC to buy Shaw. So it'll be, instead of Shaw Direct, it'll be Rogers Direct, or maybe they won't be,
or maybe they'll completely drop the satellite.
Yeah.
I wonder what will happen of Videotron in that situation, because they were small. Now they're gonna be smaller. So I'm not sure what's gonna happen technology-wise and market-wise from them. Because here in Quebec we have Videotron and Cogeco.
Yeah.
And some small.
We have Cogeco in my town too, and I remember I used to volunteer at one of the Access TV stations, and it was Shaw Cable at the time in Smith Falls, Ontario, Canada. It was Shaw, and it was in the process of being bought by Cogeco. So it ended up, and Cogeco, they were like sort of changing over cable systems from Ontario. I think they traded some for their Ontario ones to some of their Western ones. So Shaw became more. Had more cable systems in the Western Canada, and then Cogeco moved more into. I think Cogeco started in Quebec, from what I understood.
Yes, it does. It did. Yeah, but I don't remember where exactly. No, I don't, because they are in Quebec. They are where Videotron don't want to be. That's about it.
Going back to thumbnail topic here, we got Dog RV asks, "Where's the best place to look for a used C-band dish? Get NFL games." Yeah, that's a good question. I've seen them on Facebook Marketplace. I don't know if you have a Facebook account. If you don't, create a Facebook account. Create a troll Facebook account and have a lot of fun with that. But you can still get yourself a C-band satellite dish.
And I guess if it wasn't for COVID, we could go up and ask people too, I guess, if they're using it.
Yeah. You could drop a flyer in someone's mailbox and say, "Hey, here's my phone number, my email address. I'm looking for a C-band dish. Do you use that anymore? I'll take it off your property for free if you're willing to. I'm interested in using it for a C-band." North Coaster Hobby made a good point in his video there about that. He said that tell them that you're interested in using it for satellite. That will make people more want to give it to you, as opposed to thinking that you're just going to use it for scrap metal. Now, the aluminum on the dish, I would say it's probably, you wouldn't even get $100 in scrap metal for it. You wouldn't even get that. So it's scrapping a satellite dish because they're not heavy. It's not like it's a super heavy thing or whatever. You're not going to get a whole lot of money out of scrap metal for it. So it's more worthwhile keeping it as a satellite dish, even if you bought one off of Craigslist or what are the classified ad websites that are out there now? Kijiji is in Canada. Craigslist is what they use in the States.
eBay.
Yeah, and I think there's other classified. eBay, so though I don't think someone's going to put it in the mail and mail C-band satellite.
No. Well, I know eBay has an option for a local pickup.
Oh, for local. Oh, they do. Okay, I should look into that.
Yes.
But I think the best thing you can do is you won't be able to use Google Map because you cannot recognize this on the quality of the picture of Google Map, but you gotta travel a lot to find and search for it. Just take your car and move and
you do gotta get in the car and look. I drove out to one and it was a 10-footer and I was looking for an 8-footer, although I wish I would have gotten a 10-footer at this point. But I drove out to a site and the dish didn't look in the greatest shape. I drove like 20 minutes. The guy had no idea how to measure it because I was looking for an 8-footer, and it was a big 10-footer dish, and it was in rough shape. It was so I passed on that one. But
the thing you can do is
some of those older ones are really well built. They're like made in Canada. They're made in the USA. Those are the really good ones. Like they're even better than some of the overseas ones that they make now.
The best one are the gray one from Channel Masters.
Channel Master, yeah. Channel Masters are good ones.
The gray mesh one are great. They stand the pass-off time, I think. And the black one tends to overheat a bit. When the years goes by, you'll find out that the bottom, the gray one too, but you found out that the bottom of your dish, the tube, is swelling, is getting bigger from water getting in, and stuff like that. But the best thing you can do is actually
now just to look at what I've seen with the Channel Master dishes is they don't have the 4 points holding the LNB in place. The Channel Master dishes would have like one bar coming out, kind of bend a little bit and hold the LNB in place.
Not talking about that.
Okay,
the gray ones have the rod are going on the side of the dish, actually, not inside it, but on the side.
No.
They hook on the side.
Yeah, either way, it wouldn't matter. I mean, it would if you basically would have the LNB in the focal point to be able for it to work.
But get many as you can. Do like I did in the mid 2000.
You got a big shed.
I harvest many of them.
Rescue them. Rescue.
Yeah, rescue
them from scrap metal dump. So someone gets like instead of someone getting like not even $10 for it out of scrap metal.
You don't get $10. I never pay for those. One of my friend a few months ago tried to have one, and the guy asked for $300 and
that's too much.
And another dish because his wife wanted to make something with, so he don't want to sell it. All the bullshit of someone.
People like that just move on.
Move on. Yes,
move on. There'll be another dish out there. Move on. Don't deal with that. It's with Black Beauty when I bought that dish, and I wanted to get see if someone would take it. No one took it. I had to scrap that because I had to get rid of it. I had nowhere for it, and it didn't come apart in pieces. I mean, it was a good dish to have too, but I had nowhere for it.
There's a question that was asked on your website, on your Facebook. Is a 8-footer large enough? Not in Canada for what I'm thinking, but
I have an 8-footer. It works.
Yeah, from some channel. But what I was wondering,
I don't get all the channels on my 8-footer.
Yeah, you don't get all. Yes, for sure. But the question, if you can go further than this, I think maybe a 8-footer that is a plain steel dish can do as well as a 10-footer. Maybe it's what I was wondering about.
A little bit, marginally, yeah. But the mesh, it helps. The wind goes through it, and so even a mesh 10-footer would be a better bet.
better bet than an 8 steel
Yeah.
one. I don't think it does. Maybe it probably doesn't exist because I think all the steel
Yeah.
one are 12 or 10 footer.
It's what I'm thinking about. Like if I ever got a camper and then had a satellite dish mounted on the roof of the camper, like something like, I don't know, out of an Inspector Gadget that would just and then just set up like a TV van, right? And then have C-band in a trailer, right, when you're camping.
You're gonna use the old photo you were showing from some months ago.
Or you have that blow up one,
the inflating dish,
the inflatable dish. Yeah, have the inflatable dome dish come up on your roof there. Yeah,
they should make those.
They should make that for C-band dishes on top of RVs and stuff like that.
I did install many years ago. I did install Shaderek special white dish that is with actuator and stuff like that for RVs. Those are cost. I think it costs about $2,000 for this Shaderek dish. And when we did finish the install, inside the dish went and took its aim by itself. It was quite magical, but those were quite pricey and kind of heavy on the roof somehow also.
So North Coaster says solid dish might be better if you're trying with to do C and KU band combined.
Yeah,
I have done C and KU band combined on my mesh dish. I actually got KU band really decently on my KU band dish.
It works.
Yeah.
It works well. But if you use a Chinese LNB like I did, that's problematic somehow.
Trevor dropped off there. He might just stepped up for a bit. I'll just bring back if he comes back on. And you can call in, by the way, if you want to call in today. There's a link in the YouTube video where you can call in and chat with us.
It's not a two-man show.
Yeah. Also, I guess we were doing Discord quite a bit over the summertime. I took a break from YouTube and we were like doing chats on Discord. I tried Facebook. I just wanted to try out the other social medias. Now, if you you can find my Discord link on my link tree, which is in this video. It's a chat room where you can Discord's kind of like a chat room like IRC. So you can go in there and chat. We do voice chat there. I think you can have as many people as like in a Zoom meeting and have video chats in there. I'm just getting busy where I'm pretty much going to schedule. Okay, I'm going to do a chat and I'll do it Saturday night at this point, and we'll see how things go. Paul says Discord is better than Facebook. I think we're trying Facebook and Discord, and we did find that Discord was better for chatting. So I'm kind of happy to see
this. I discovered Discord with you actually, and it's kind of fun to use because
I found other groups on
you
Discord.
feel at home with your homies on this.
Yeah, I found like a shortwave radio group on Discord, and I'm interested in shortwave radio listening. Another social media, an alternative social media thing I'm on is MeWe, MEWE. It has like several groups and all sorts. I have a group there called Defund Cable for as what the satellite group's called there. It's basically like the Facebook satellite group. It's just I like to see someone else be successful, and maybe not so much Facebook and the big media. So and Discord seems to be the number 2 place where people are chatting is over at Discord. Is from what I'm seeing with the from what I'm seeing for the numbers. Only thing is I'm concerned about. There's a few people who did jump on Discord and they're pushing some wrong information. So be cautious of that.
Oh.
Just saying saying you can do stuff with Dish Network dishes and stuff.
Okay.
And I want to save people headaches on that. And I don't know how to. I don't want to get into a whole thing about that. It's just with my recommendation is instead of getting a sunburn, is if you're going to get into KU band, get yourself a decent 36-inch KU band dish. Don't bother trying to do like a 20-inch Bell dish or something like that, and find out that it's not going to work after hours of messing around with it.
It's hard to aim when your dish is not big enough.
Yeah, exactly. Or you got the wrong kind of LNB on it too.
Or you didn't see that your bottom arm is bent for some reason, so you won't have the dish, the full dish reflected on the LNB. So it's hard to. It's finicky to get KU somehow. What I try to do is using it with an HH motor, and I'm not installed right now. I'm putting too much of my time on the C-band side instead.
Yeah, we got Kurt joining us in New York State.
Hello.
I don't know if his audio is up there or not, but
the whole gang.
Yeah. And people don't even have to tell me. I just know where everyone is.
Yeah, right.
We got Quebec, New York State, and North Coaster. He's in the chat room here. He's not on tonight. He's in the Bay, North Bay. Or I get those towns mixed up. Yeah, we get people from all over. It's funny how we get like a lot of like Northern Hemisphere people. Like we got a lot of the Canadians are up here. Because Canadians know what it's like to have crappy TV. So like
yeah,
that's why it's the Canadian stuff. We want to have television, so we don't make do with what we have.
Yeah, it's like for us Canadians, it's like our way of getting certain shows that they won't show us here in Canada, like wrestling and stuff like that.
If you wish,
Thunder Bay.
You can
I was going to say North Bay, North Coaster.
You can stream the video I did, and I post again on your website. Those were the days. It's about using a dish back in the late 80s.
I imagine like if you want everything. I mean, I just go to YouTube because I find like. That's where I go to. I watch probably more stuff on YouTube than I do on broadcast TV because like there's stuff that I like there, right?
It's powerful. In fact, when you think about it and you compare YouTube to others like BitChute and Odyssey and all those stuff, you can recognize that YouTube is in fact quite powerful in the fact that everything works and everything is snappy, and you have never downtime or lags on anything. Everything is working on the dime, and that's powerful. That's hard to do when you're not the big one. So you always find what you want on YouTube, like you said. Because of this, you don't. The interface is powerful, and you find anything you want, except those things that they didn't want to have, so they went to BitChute and other. And others like this.
Car Guy says I know where there's an old analog head-in small hometown. A lot of small towns have like their own little tiny cable systems, and then they get bought by like the big companies, right? And then they just abandon them. C-band dishes are not being used anymore. It's a shame because people who have space could use them. Yeah, and the funny thing is they'll probably scrap them. I've seen a broadcast in the back of a truck one day. It was like huge one, right? Like it was a big 20-footer or something. It's like, it was like on top of a dump truck, like inside a dump truck, and I knew what it was. It was like, oh, wish I had space for that.
Yeah, for sure. They were a religion affiliation. I don't know which one, and they were having a big, beautiful white dish for a long time, and I didn't want to mess with them. I didn't think it was a good idea to talk to them. They're too much of a cult for me. So one day I passed by their house, their of worship, and the dish were gone. I suppose they scrapped it.
Was this Latter-day Saints church, or they have C-band dishes there?
No, I think let me think in French. I will find it. Just a moment. Les
7 Day Adventist?
No. those who don't with the blood stuff.
The blood stuff.
Yeah, they don't want to get blood. They cannot. They cannot make transfusion of blood.
Jehovah's Witness.
Yes,
I just didn't want to say. I didn't want to say it because like people pick. I didn't realize they did satellite. I know they have like a website, but
yeah, they did have a plain 12-footer, a white one.
Maybe they did back in the day. I didn't realize that they had programming for Jehovah's Witnesses. I know the Mormons do. They have like a couple channels on C-band. It's interesting. The Mormons are on C. Well, they're on KU band too. They're on one. Was it 89 West? Is where the Mormons stuff is. And they'll have like a BYU channel there sometimes too. With BYU it's out of like Utah, but it has a lot of good programming on there. Sometimes it's on KU band, and they have movies and stuff like that on that channel too. And not as many commercials, I find, either. I don't think they do, but I think they may do commercials, but not a whole lot.
That made sense. That make sense to me, because for me, the Mormons are always been the American. They were always associated to the deep American life somehow. They always been in the with the farmers and stuff like that. I always see them using C-band back in the day. But
like a higher Mennonite or something like that. Yeah, there's lots of groups out there.
You don't see much of them here.
Kenny Murray says CANCOM broadcast cable style service over C-band used Oak Oren decoder, basic cable for homes with an 8-foot dish, remote cable TV head ends.
It's kind of convoluted question. I don't get it.
I'm just trying to get it sometimes. But I know there's a lot of small cable systems. I don't know. I do know that I heard somebody say before HBO, there was an over-the-air movie channel service in New York City. And it was on the antenna, right? So you can get the audio for the movies on the antenna, but you couldn't watch the video part of it. Yeah, it was an over-the-air pay. It was over-the-air pay TV that they had like in the 70s. I think.
Yeah, they did have that. I heard
yeah.
There's a YouTube channel with the guys always hiding.
Yes, the Oddity Archive.
Oddity Archive. I like that.
Is his name? Yeah. He does a lot of great reviews on like old technology, basically all the stuff we like, right?
I thought that was in Chicago, Select TV, and
something like that. Yes,
there was that in Select TV, but I guess there was one in New York City, because I was listening to Dan Bongino. He comes on my radio now. They replaced Rush Limbaugh now, so he's on there. He was talking about that. He was like, he's from New York, and how they had this over-the-air TV. Pay TV before. He said it was a precursor to HBO, but it could have been on because HBO started in the 70s.
Yeah, with Josh Carlin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The first show they did with him was a special of Josh Carlin. I think about the 78 and 78.
No, before then. But HBO was
they were before that. Then. Okay.
Yeah, mid 70s, I think.
Mid 70s. Okay.
I don't know. My computer's running slow now. If anyone wants to HBO, if anyone wants to quick do a search for when HBO started, but I actually found on YouTube an old video, because I'm a wrestling fan. There was actually a wrestling event on HBO with and it was like a very early some wrestler very early, and Vince McMahon was there like in 1975 interviewing with and it was like a multi-promotion. In 1975, Vince McMahon was just an announcer.
November 8th,
1972. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, 1972 is when HBO started. So it was like I think cable was starting in the 70s. So And it was just, but cable started. Well, actually, cable started in the 50s because what they would do is use master antenna systems for communities. So communities that were in valleys, they would put an antenna up on and then have the cable roll out. And it might have only been a couple channels, so they couldn't get anything on TV back in the early days. So they would have like master, and that's what started cable is. So to get more content, they would start in the 70s. They had satellites, so they pull in more channels off the satellite. Every channel had TBS. That's how Ted Turner started. Yeah.
Those antenna was kind of like a dish, but with row bars inside. Is it that kind of antenna?
The master antenna? I think they just use multiple antennas and use re-amplifiers and all that.
No, I'm talking about on the receiver end, on the actual receiver end. I think you were aiming those antenna to the place where they have the C-band dish, and this it's kind of I think it's kind of a UHF a kind of how can I call it, like we used today with the WiMAX and Wi-Fi. I'm not sure it's the same bandwidth, but they were using here. There were a lot of people that were using this little dish antenna, and they aim it at one place like a church and stuff like that, like we used to do with DC with the Wi-Fi, but to receive actual channel.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I think they probably would have had stuff like that back in the day, and a lot of cable companies started that way, and they were able to get away with that. They weren't being like sued by the broadcasters. You're reselling our signal. Like there was like it was
you're putting
wild,
our signal
wild
over
west.
the air. You're putting the signal over the air. Yeah, that's
and I think cable companies started that way. Yeah,
yeah.
And then now it's like the broadcasters kind of took over the cable companies. Like I don't know, because it seems that all these content providers that they dictate to the cable company how much they're going to charge. Everyone complains about the cable company, but it's the channels that are on cable. They want their money, and that's why the price rises.
God, did
so
Charlie talk about that for an nauseum? He talked about that forever and ever. Charlie, the owner of Dish
Charlie
Network,
would talk about that. Yeah,
yeah, he was always talking there. Back in the day, you could see the technical channel. They were broadcasting on it to inform their provider and installer what to do with the new Dish Pro technology and stuff like that. And they were always talking, okay, we have stuff like ESPN. We got starting this date, we're gonna broadcast a black channel because we don't have the right anymore. So we're gonna have to this and that. They always have problem with their provider, ESPN in particular.
Well, they're all trying to undercut each other and all that. It's business. I mean, it's they're trying to get the best deal that they can, and they have to. I guess for what it is, the way all that works. Yeah, it's. I mean, as a consumer, I have the choice. I don't have to pay for Cogeco or anybody. I can go to start.ca. They actually have TV providers or whatever. Oh, by the way, I wanted to tell you about my parents' cable. I set them up their cable this weekend. I remember, Trevor, you were telling me about this a while back, how all the cable boxes, I don't know if it was Rogers you were telling me about, are all streaming boxes now. They are. I hooked it up for my parents, and they have this Rogers Elite or Ignite or whatever they call that thing now. Rogers Ignite, same thing. Cogeco has a similar thing. And what it is, you have a router, and the cable boxes will connect to the one router, and it works like a cable box will, like what you're used to with your cable box, but it's basically there's no coax cable to the end of it. So I'm going to show you like my satellite receiver. It's not like your typical cable box where you always would have to have the RG5 or 6 going into it. It does have the network cable thingy where you can plug in a network cable.
Here we go.
I did. Yeah, you got one there. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. Here, I'm gonna make your bigger again. I'm just gonna bring you down there.
I think Bill 5 is doing the same thing.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna want to show the bottom because it has information.
Yeah,
on
it has your
for
information.
sure.
If you could show the back, like all it is it's the LAN connection and an HDMI out and the power, a cell phone USB power type thing,
Mhm.
and
Is
that's
it the
what it
same
is.
as Slingbox in the States with Dish Network?
And-
It's like the Xfinity X1 system.
yeah. Now the nice thing I liked about it, I hate Rogers, but I gotta say I like the technology. It makes it so it plays YouTube. But the funny thing is, my mom has a YouTube Premium account. No YouTuber promotes YouTube Premium or the YouTube subscription service because we don't see a way of making money off of it.
Yeah.
If YouTube had that, they don't watch me. They don't care. But if they gave us an incentive to try to get people to get that, because I like YouTube, I like the way the technology works. It would be kind of fun to have that. But yeah, it has YouTube and Netflix built into the cable box. So like basically it has like apps. It's like kind of like an Android box, or it's like a smart TV. It'll make your TV into a smart TV. Which I guess makes cable catch up to other places. Now the other third party in Canada and probably in the US they have this too, is you can go with another company to get your internet provider and you still use cable. Like you just don't pay your local cable company, but they still use the cable coax cable coming into your house.
Mhm.
So you can switch. I've recently switched to Start, and but they also have like streaming boxes that you can get. And Start, all they have is like an Android box that you buy, or or maybe it's an Amazon Fire, and it has their proprietary app. You log into your account and you watch TV with it, linear TV.
I think A-Box is using a Roku box from. There's many providers like that. They're gonna use those modify mainstream box, like Roku and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I had a few comments in here. I like back in the 80s. I love the 80s. Back in the 80s, I used to install very odd shaped satellites. This was somewhat curved, square shaped 12 foot. So one of these kind of basically like an Orbi TV dish or a Shaw dish, except like, kind of a squarish oval dishes. You see those on the roof of a lot of Esso gas stations and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. I wonder if they still use them. I think so, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Because I've seen recently build office that was having those on the roof. So I wonder if they still use them. I think gotta call it. There's the car provider that you make a rent are using those like enterprise and stuff like that. I think they're using this. They still.
Okay, yeah, I thought it was like a transaction type thing that they were using. I think if you change the LNB though, it will work. It basically you just got to get the SKU right for it. I think it's a fixed dish though, because that has to be like fixed. It won't work like a motor. It won't work well on an actuator or anything like that. But it will. Just the design of the dish is.
The fact is, it's less costly to get you the right dish than messing with those old dish for the Kiyun band side of things. For the C band, it's another matter. You can still use old dish, but not the dish from the 80s. They're too much trouble to use. Those like I've shown on your website, those have a waveguide that put the LNB at the back of the dish instead of the front and stuff like that. And I don't think you can change.
Oh yeah, those are tricky. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, those are tricky.
I didn't saw those from a long time. Last time I think I was using my VHS camera, so it's been a long time. It's been a long time.
Do a quick search on eBay, see if we could see any. I'm not logged in here, am I?
Yeah, you can put some image, so we make some comments on those. Maybe.
Yeah, C-band satellite dish. See if there's any C-band satellite dishes that come up on eBay. Oh, look. Bring her up here. Okay, we're in this corner here. That's good. So yeah, here's a C-band satellite dish. A Wineguard 10-foot C-band. That's a pretty good quality one too, eh?
It's looking,
US
it's looking like mine.
$1,000 though. I think that's a little much. I don't know.
They're crazy.
Yep.
I have 6 of them, so
Yeah. These ones I would avoid because I don't know. This is a 4-foot. It's not a pole mount, so there's no actuator on it. So it's a fixed dish. So you'd get it fixed on one satellite, but you couldn't really move it around like a pole mount with an actuator. You see a lot of these ones. So there. Oh, look, there's Mr. $125,000. Yeah, there's the one. There's the famous. They still haven't sold it. No one's bought it. You haven't bought it, Patrick.
No, it's famous, but for us, it's famous. But you gotta remember, those dish are broadcaster dish. They're not receiving. They're not made for receiving first. They're really a broadcasting dish. So I don't see the point of having.
You know what they need to do? They need to put it on the roof of your RV.
They should make a less complicated one just for receiving. It will be sold, I tell you.
Yeah.
I can tell you that will be selling. The stuff will be sold, not at that price.
I wonder how hard it would be. I couldn't design it myself, but I would wonder how hard it would be to build an inflatable satellite dish.
You gotta have the right materials, the right fiber, also.
It'd be like the metallic surface of the
and how you make a reflective inside on the one side of the ball, but on the other side of the ball, it's not. It's gotta let the wave pass through, so it's kind of weird how you can make those. I don't know much.
I wish I had the space to do one of these round bottom things. Dishes, but I would be fixed on one spot. But it'd be fun if I had the space to set one of these things up. I think it would be a fun video to make.
Yes, it could. But,
yeah, and then I typed in C-band satellite dish, and it's just showing like KU band dishes now at this point.
Yeah. What can you say?
There's a 24-inch stroke actuator arm. That's pretty much all you need. Everything's crazy now, eh? It's like here, I'll try C-band dish motor. No, can't even spell.
Just write C-band. I will tell you.
No, a motor, like for a KU band.
For the motor, okay.
For a KU band, there's a motor there. It's $200. Like I bought one of these for about $100 a year ago. And then there's
many sizes to them. You gotta remember there's HH80, 100, and 120. So this one is if it's a 120, I think I bought this for about $150 back, let's say 10 years ago. So it still work. One of my friend HH80 is not working anymore, so we can tell you maybe you need to make it bigger as possible.
Yeah, I'll look at Facebook Marketplace and just type in C-band dish, see what comes up.
I should try that too on my side. In the French world, I will find nothing. I can tell you.
No, I'm just looking over my page, make sure everything looks okay. I see some here. I see one anyway. It's in Quebec too. Here. So there's a C-band dish in Quebec. It looks like it's missing part of it though, which sucks. That's junk. It looks like a junky one too. I don't know.
I will. I don't.
But it's
like
missing
the
like the.
this.
No, it's like that's fun to climb up and try to get that down safely and not hit those electrical wires there.
Talking about electrical wires, I did shock myself one time when I not harvested but rescued them, like you told me,
Yeah.
and I found out that the hard shock I had on the elbow was coming. It took me about 3 or 2 minutes to understand, but I was getting shocked every time I was touching the dish. I find out that my dish that I put on the ground was hanging on the cow bar wires. You know, the wires for the cows.
Yep.
So I was getting the.
Oh yeah. You
So,
get shocked from the.
so
I wonder if that would cause interference if you're using it. Like if you're in a farm field, right? You got animals or whatever. And if your dish were to touch that electric fence where they keep your livestock or whatever, it's like, yeah.
Anyway,
yes,
You're
I
gonna
gotta
have
get going. I gotta get going there
you
now.
gotta go.
I'm very tired. I had my second shot of you know what today,
No.
and I'm passing out here.
no,
All
okay,
right.
yeah.
The you know what
See you,
you got
everybody.
you took yourself the good the you know what, okay.
All right, everybody, have fun on the stream.
Yeah, rest well,
Yeah,
and
bye.
hopefully
Bye.
feel better. Yeah, good
Thanks.
rest. Yeah, I'll turn off Trevor there. There goes Trevor.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's I'm
You're
looking at
about-
the.
You're
It's
nearly.
it's in long. What's that place? What's this place, Patrick?
You were talking about 2 hours, but you're nearly there.
I'm nearly. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up soon here. Go to bed.
Yes,
I'm
Longueuil.
working. Yeah.
Longueuil is a great place. Maybe you want to have. If it's a good place to get one. I will
I'm
tell you
surprised I
that
can't
some.
see any of that's there. Yeah. I'm surprised there's none
Do
else.
they
in
ask money for this?
Zero. It says $100, but it's crossed out in zero. So
Okay.
I don't know what you'd fix that broken part with, like stick some tinfoil behind it. I don't know.
No, you don't. What you're using actually is oh, I don't know the word for this. The wire that is gold. The gold wire, the wire you use to make jewelry with it, is great for that. You take another another mesh and you stick it to it and you saw that with gold wire, a wire of some kind, and it's gonna work and you're gonna do great stuff. Put some paint on it and you won't see anything. So for that hole we see on the picture, but it's a matter of our band dish or somewhat. Doesn't matter. It's crap for.
I just realized something. Another thing, what I found on Kijiji is I typed C-band dish. A lot of the people who buy a house and have a C-band dish on their property have no idea that it's called C-band dish. So I want to point that out. So I typed in satellite dish. So when you're looking on the marketplace, I typed in satellite dish. Now, a lot of Bell dishes have come up because it's in my area. I haven't shown the screen. Let's cut to the screen here. So I did a cut to the screen here, and I'm seeing like a bunch of Bell dishes, and I think I saw a KU band dish in this. There's a pile of dishes.
Can you can you say minus Bell on the search?
There's a way of doing that. I don't know how it. There's a Shaw Direct dish that will work for free to air, and there's like a Frodic Star, whatever that. Right? I'm looking at it upside down, but I see those around a lot.
We call that the foreigner dish.
Yeah, the foreigner dish. Yeah, exactly. I did see a KU band dish out here somewhere, so it's peeking through here. I see a lot of receivers.
Oh,
there's some tower.
Can you
there's
get
some tower?
There's
an
Explorer square dish. Is that what I'm thinking?
Oh, it's an Explorer for like not for satellite, but for in our area, they have a lot of the people in the country have the microwave internet.
Yeah, WiMAX somehow. Okay.
Yeah. They have that. There's a tower. 200. I don't know. That's pretty expensive for a tower.
That's
though.
a television tower. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're an over-the-air watcher, that's a good thing to have. Oh, there's a tailgater. One of those tailgater junky things. Don't waste. By the way, I made a video about that, but don't waste your money on those things. Okay.
No, those don't worth anything. I just saw that my DSLR went away again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a good idea to stream with a DSLR.
No, I guess not. We're finding that out on this. So here's the tower pieces. And I only see like 2 sections, but I don't know. That's too much for a tower. I got my tower for nothing. You know, I bought the tower from a guy who lived in the country, and then a few days later he went to get internet because he just moved into the house, and I guess he found out that he needed a tower. I got it. No, I don't think that happened. I think he had cable out there. There's a bell dish on a tripod.
Yeah,
I don't have that up anymore. That's probably for the best. Yeah, but I don't know if I can go to Kijiji without being logged in.
but I can tell you, everyone, on this that you're always better off going straight to the guy on the and ask him if he's still using him. And sometime I found out that some people tell me, yeah, I'm using it. And he showed me his old analog receiver and tell me, yeah, I can't, it doesn't work. Why? I can't, the guy didn't use it didn't use it, in fact, from a long time ago, but he will tell you that he's using it because he don't want to part with it. He thinks, you know, when you have paid so much $1,000 on
Thousands
that,
of
you
dollars.
don't want
You don't
to
want
let it
for
go.
nothing. Yeah,
For
you don't want to
nothing.
go. Yeah.
It worked nothing. It worked nothing, but they don't want to let it go, and they didn't upgrade it like we did. So, back in the day, I was telling the guy, I'm using it with my computers. That was
I'm
true.
I'm looking on Kijiji. I think it knows I'm in Kingston. One thing I want to warn people about, but people are going to do it anyway. I mean, they're going to, is the here's a DigiWave a satellite receiver, and it probably only does MPEG-2 in standard definition. So stay away from those.
They still have those on.
Yeah. If you go on Kijiji, they're trying to get rid of their stock. They're still selling it for like $100, even though you can get an Amiko for like $88, or you can get cheaper ones. You know,
the Chinese one.
Yeah, a cheap media one. Yeah, and but yeah, avoid that. I recommend the Amikos or the but yeah, you gotta be careful, and you gotta look for like H.265 and DVB-S2 are like some of the key buzzwords you want to look for. I know it's like if you're new to this hobby, you don't know what I'm talking about. I know, but LNBs, and then they sell like circular LNBs. Yeah, you got to know a little bit about the technology, what you're gonna buy, or you're gonna get burned. I mean, it'll work. You can use it to watch Smile of a Child on Galaxy 19, and then that's why people are always mad when I mention free to air. It's like all there is religious channels, because they bought a receiver that only gets the religious channels because he gets the channels from like 20 years ago, because the religious channels haven't upgraded to like H.264 or anything like that. And
I still use my Primesat, by the way, huh?
Oh yeah,
because those were made. They were not based on cheap software. They were made. The software were actually made for the receiver. The Primesat, so they were fast to use and not that buggy. So
some of them were, some of these older receivers. I mean, you'll change the channel; it's like instant. You know, like I used I'll pull out the box for it. I got it here. It was a disappointment. It's supposed to be the latest and greatest, best thing in the free to air silent world.
Yeah,
it was the AZ box.
It
was going to be the best thing ever. And oh my gosh, you changed the channel on this thing? Wait,
because they're based on the Linux, huh? I think they're based somehow on Unix kernel.
You know what? The Edison's not too bad. It's pretty quick. It's pretty quick. It's a Linux-based system, but I don't know. It's just the way the software was, right? It was slow, and you know.
I cannot tell you what receiver I'm actually using because it's a Golf Tango one, if you know what I mean. So, and I'm using a DBS card also. So they're kind of fast. I like them, and I'm using the old Primesat 9200. Those were H264 capable, and mine has
Really?
Mine has the card for that, so I'm
Hmm.
still using them. They're not H265 for sure, but
So that's got to be over 10 years old then, eh?
yeah, and they're quite pricey. And I bought in at bought it late on the market for those, and I still paid a lot of bucks, of $100 to get them. One time I did have one, and they were not capable of recording on the hard drive, so I bought another one. One of my friends have two of them, and they're for the one time I don't remember. I think about 2005 to 2015, maybe, or 2000. They were quite popular on the C-band side of things because they were fast, real receiver, and the fact that they were not using Unix kernel or something like that. They were the software were made for the box, but they had a great problem with them. They're overeating all the time. So
Oh yeah.
so
I
what
had one.
Yeah.
Did it have an ATSC tuner?
Yeah, they also have an ATSC tuner.
Yeah. That was the nice thing about some of those boxes. I almost bought it was a Pansat. I think I almost bought one, or maybe it was the one beginning with the letter N. I don't know, one of those from back in those days. I did have the thing about those days is I remember getting a Sonic View, and it was the HD 800. Kind of a junky receiver, but it had an ATSC tuner built into it. So I thought, okay, I'm going to have the best of both worlds here. I can have an ATSC tuner, watch my over-the-air channels, and watch my at the time I just had KU band, and it was right after the you can no longer do naughty things with it. So it was reasonably cheap, right? So I got one, and that's how I kind of got my start in this. And
I did use also a naughty receiver, but I was not using. I was using it only for FTA, and it was quite fast. The old cool sat one.
Mm-hmm.
Those were fast to use. Still, they had a kind of toys like interface, but they were working. They were fast, but unfortunately, they were only 260 MPEG-2.
Yeah, they're only MPEG-2. Yeah.
What I did with mine, with my Pansat, is actually changing all the thermal paste on the heat dissipator inside, and I made also a hole in the back to put a fan on them. So when I'm using it, it's like using a real professional receiver. You put it on and you hear, because if I don't do that, he will hang on me. I
remember with those, you had to change the fans on them. Like the fans would die on you, and then the thing would overheat.
Yeah,
a lot of the receivers now they have no fans.
Will overheat. Okay.
No, the fan died, and then the receiver would overheat and kind of conk out.
Mine, I had to put in a fan so it worked, and they made it. So, the one thing that is funny to note on this receiver, at the front panel, you pull it up, down. I mean. And then on the front you have the main switch, and it actually directly on the power. It's not a software switch; it's a full switch directly on the.
There they want to tell people.
So
about
they knew
receivers.
It knew it was crap. They put the switch in the front.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for the reboot.
Yeah, the reboot, the real reboot, the hard reboot.
Another thing though, in most receivers are like this. If you lose the remote,
it's big. It's a good remote. It's better than mine.
Yeah, this is the Amiko. It's the remote's bigger than the receiver.
Actually.
But yeah, if you lose the remote, you're kind of screwed because it doesn't have any buttons on it. And the Amiko doesn't have like a web interface. At least the Edison. It does have a web interface on it, so you can. I use my cell phone for Z Gamma. I use my cell phone to like interface with it, and then when I'm in the backyard, I got a Wi-Fi extender. That's a screw. It's a Wi-Fi extender that's a screw-in light bulb. So I just put it in my outside light, and it just relays the Wi-Fi, and so I watch my crazy.
You
My
make me
crazy,
think
my crazy friend.
It's fun.
That I
It's
want-
funny because
on Galaxy 19, on 99 West. Yeah.
okay, I get it.
Yeah,
It's
you
not
know what I'm
funny.
talking about,
But
Yeah.
I went completely out of what you were talking about because you made me think of something really weird that went nowhere. Did you heard about the light fi?
I did. I thought that was going to be like, forget 5G, like forget wireless, transfer data by light.
Light, yeah.
Yeah.
It went to TED. There was a old TED.
That was years ago, and I
conference
haven't
on
heard
this.
anything about it.
No,
That
I didn't.
It's like game changer technology,
And
yet
it went nowhere.
it went nowhere. Well, you know what? They're waiting for the patent to run out. 20 years, patent runs out, and then everybody makes it, and the guy who invents it gets nothing.
So what you mean is the tech we have today is 30 years old?
Yeah, well, it was Farnsworth. Farnsworth is the name of the guy who invented the scan electrical TV circuit, and he invented that, and he invented it in was it 1930s? Anyway, by the time
Before that.
before 20s, it might have been in the 20s.
Yeah.
And what happened with him is he had a battle of RCA, like a legal battle, suing over the rights. By the time television actually took off in the 50s, the patent ran out, and he never made any money off his invention.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. He did the camera and everything. It's one of those.
Because he did. That's the guy that invented the scanning pattern on CRT.
Yeah. He basically was the one who invented the scan.
He's credited
electrical
for
scan,
being the inventor of television because of that. I think.
Television, the electrical television, because there was the mechanical television that looked looked terrible, and even the early.
And now we don't care who invented digital television.
Yeah. I do. I think history is interesting. Like Marconi, he developed radio, but also Tesla was awarded the patent of inventing radio, but he was working on so much inventions that he forgot to patent the invention for radio.
Okay, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, but that's apparently part of the invention for radio. Tesla.
Is it like those stories that Tesla knew about the other guy you were talking about?
Yeah, but
or they said he knew him and he put in on something to cure his hemorrhoids or something like that.
Oh,
yeah. So there's a lot of little stories that
we
don't know that are true or not. But
we're getting a good night, and it is time for us. We've done 2 hours, which is a good time for do a live stream. Now that I got better internet now, I'll probably be doing some more live streams. I've just maybe paced myself throughout August, because obviously it's August and we're still going in through the summer. The kids aren't back in work, so I probably won't do this weekly at this point, but maybe I might come back next week, because at least next week I know I'm not going to be busy on a Saturday, so I might be able to do a stream next Saturday. We'll see what happens. I'll post it out on Facebook, and I'll put it out there if I'm going to do it next week. If not, there's always Discord too. We can just sort of do a chat amongst us. We had a chat there about a month ago, and I was on my cell phone. I had a tent outside in my backyard. I was camping outside. That's how I did it.
That was more personal. I saw that.
Yeah. That was it was better. That was for a smaller group. But
we were on there. We were on a small group on their own on this, and we talk about the same thing. So
talk about the same things. Yeah, we're like a broken record.
Somehow, yes.
All right, I'm gonna turn this off the live stream. So thanks, guys, that joined us in the chat room, and we'll probably do this again. You never know until I post it out as written in stone on when I put it out as a scheduled program, unless something happens, like what happened one night where I had to go to the hospital for one of my kids. We had to go to the hospital, But things are good. Things are okay now. They have had no problems. So, all right. So I'll sign this off, and we'll all talk next time. We'll say that.
Bye.
All right, bye.